Her nails dug into my back as our lips crashed again, hungry, reckless, right there in the middle of the bar. My hand slid beneath her skirt, and she didn't stop me. She pulled me closer, harder, like she wanted to be seen. And that was the plan. Because Rachel, my wife, was right there, across the bar, staring, paralyzed. The look on her face? Priceless. Like someone had just ripped the floor from under her designer heels. Her eyes bounced between my face and Haley's, my arm around another man's wife, his wife, fingers exactly where Rachel's used to beg for them. And Brent? That spineless bastard she cheated on me with? He was choking on his beer, literally, like the truth just sucker-punched him in the gut. He stuttered. Is that? Yeah, it was me, Brent. The man whose home you tried to destroy. The man whose wife you ed. And now? I was deep into yours. I didn't look away. I didn't blink. I pulled Haley closer, her breath hot in my ear as she whispered, "Is that her?" I nodded. She smiled like a woman on fire. Good. Let her watch. And we kissed again, deeper this time. The bar suddenly felt like a coliseum, and we were center stage. The music didn't matter. The people didn't matter. Only they mattered, Rachel and Brent, watching everything fall apart in real time. Watching me do exactly what they never expected, not cry, not beg, not break. But fight back, with poison made of pleasure. That was the first time I saw fear in Rachel's eyes. And she should have been afraid, because this wasn't revenge. This was war. But let me take you back, just enough to understand why this moment happened. Why it had to be this way. 3 weeks ago, I found a message on her phone. She claimed she was asleep, but the text lit up the screen while I walked past the nightstand. Last night was insane. Can't stop thinking about your mouth. Brent. I froze. My body didn't know whether to scream or vomit. I stared at the name for a full minute, like maybe it would vanish if I blinked enough. My wife, the woman I gave 10 years of my life to, was letting this creep do things she used to beg me for. I checked the message thread. Dozens of texts. Photos. Voice notes. Hotel addresses. Everything. Rachel had built an entire second life behind my back. So no, I wasn't going to sit in the kitchen with a cup of tea and say, "Let's talk about this." I needed her to feel it. And Haley? She was the perfect storm. Brent's wife. A woman betrayed just like me. She found me through a Facebook message. "I think our spouses are sleeping together. Want to talk?" We did. Then we planned. And tonight was opening night. As I locked eyes with Rachel again across the bar, I could see the truth sinking in. This wasn't a coincidence. This was justice. And I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Let's rewind to the moment it all snapped. I'm not talking about the night at the bar. No. I mean the exact moment I stopped being a husband and became a man with a mission. It was a Thursday night, ordinary, until it wasn't. Rachel came home late again. Third time that week. Hair freshly styled. Lipstick smeared like she'd wiped it off in a rush. And when she kissed me on the cheek, she winced, like touching me made her skin crawl. No eye contact. Just a mumbled, "Long day. Going to bed." But her perfume? It wasn't the one she usually wore to work. It was new. Sweet. Cheap. Seductive. The kind of scent someone buys to impress a man in a hotel room, not a husband waiting at home with dinner in the oven. I followed her up. Quiet. Careful. She tossed her phone on the nightstand and headed for the shower. I didn't think. I knew. I picked it up and unlocked it with her fingerprint while she was still humming behind the glass. And there it was. A thread with Brent. Brent Parker, the guy from her office who always tried too hard at company parties. The same idiot who once called me bro and gave me grilling tips in my own backyard. The same man I told her not to worry about. There were texts going back weeks. Maybe longer. Photos. Voice notes. Hotel bookings. One message burned itself into my skull. "Rachel, I can't stop thinking about last night. I needed that. Jason never touches me like you do." My vision blurred. I felt heat crawl up my neck. I wanted to throw the phone across the room, but I didn't. I needed it. Evidence. And something else I didn't know yet, power. She walked out of the shower wrapped in a towel. Her eyes skimmed over me like I wasn't even there. "You okay?" she asked casually, toweling her hair. "Yeah," I lied. "Just tired." That night, I lay next to her, pretending to sleep, as she scrolled through her phone under the covers, texting him. Probably about how good he was. Probably about how boring I'd become. She didn't even try to hide it. The next morning, she made me coffee. Smiled like everything was normal. And something in me snapped. Not the kind of snap where you scream or punch walls. Worse, it was silent, cold, surgical. I called in sick, sat in my car in a grocery store parking lot, scrolled through their entire message history. I saw everything. They met up in hotel rooms, his office, even our own house, while I was away visiting my mom in Florida last month. And that's when Haley messaged me. Hi, you don't know me, but I think our spouses are having an affair. My hand shook as I typed back, Brent and Rachel? Her reply was immediate. Yes, I've got proof. We talked, compared messages, photos, hotel receipts. Within an hour, we had enough to end 2 marriages. But instead of calling lawyers, we did something different. We got even. Haley wasn't like Rachel. She was sharp, direct, and just as furious. They think they played us, she said, her voice calm and razor-sharp over the phone. They have no idea. We planned every move like a chess match. The bar? That was check. But I was going for checkmate. That was just the opening. They started this war behind our backs. We were going to finish it to their faces. And by the time we were done, they would wish they'd never met. The night after I met Haley in person, everything shifted. We didn't meet in some shady motel room or emotional therapy circle. We met at a diner. Neutral ground. Coffee, harsh fluorescent lights, and truth on the table. Haley was even more dangerous in real life, calm, poised, and with eyes that held back fire only barely. She slid her phone toward me without saying a word. I opened the gallery. Photos. Videos. One of them was Brent shirtless in a hotel room mirror, holding up a bottle of champagne, wearing my wife's necklace. That gold chain? I'd bought it for Rachel on our anniversary. I thought it was still in her drawer. Then came a video of them kissing in the elevator of Brent's building. Rachel was laughing, her hand sliding down his back like she'd done to me 100 times. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. I just nodded. Haley leaned in. They think we're weak. No, I said. They think we're quiet. And quiet is exactly what we stayed. For now. Over the next week, Haley and I became partners in every sense but the physical. Yet, we weren't rushing anything. The focus was on planning, precision, damage. We laid out the rules. Simple. No emotions. We were not doing this for closure. We were doing it to burn their house of lies to the damn ground. No contact. We pretend everything was fine. Keep playing the happy, clueless spouses. No forgiveness. This was not about healing. It was about consequences. Haley handled the digital warfare. She was brutal. Every password Brent ever used, she had them. She installed tracking software on his tablet. We started watching him in real time. His appointments, his photos, his messages. I set up the physical plays, moments where Rachel would think something was off. Subtle things. I started using a different cologne and made sure it rubbed off on her pillow. I began coming home late, not answering texts. Let her feel a slice of her own paranoia. Rachel started asking questions. Are you seeing someone? You've been distant lately. Is something wrong? And every time I'd smile and say, you're imagining things. The way she had said it to me months ago. Meanwhile, we scheduled the real moment. The show. A bar they both loved. Brent's birthday party. Perfect setting, perfect trap. The plan was simple. We'd walk in together, dressed to kill, hands all over each other. We'd make it impossible for them to look away. Make them feel the knife of betrayal the way they had plunged it into us, only now, it would twist. 3 days before the bar scene, something unexpected happened. Rachel came home with flowers. Red roses. A guilty peace offering. I've been distant, she said. I know. I've been stressed with work. But I want us to be better, Jason. She touched my hand like it meant something. I wanted to laugh. Or scream. But I just stared at the flowers. How many other lies had she practiced in that mirror of hers? That night, she tried to initiate something in bed. The kind of slow, sultry move she hadn't done in months. I played along. Barely. I thought of Brent the whole time. I imagined punching his smug little face in while she whispered my name. She had no idea that her little redemption act was 3 days too late. The knife was already in her back. She just hadn't felt it turn yet. The night finally came. Brent's birthday. It was a Friday, and the bar was buzzing with life. Laughter, clinking glasses, overplayed music pumping from the speakers, none of it mattered. Every person in that building was just background noise to the show Haley and I were about to stage. We waited outside for a moment. She adjusted her lipstick in the side mirror of my car, then looked at me with a wicked grin. You ready to ruin lives? I didn't even blink. I've never been more ready. Haley was dressed in a tight red dress, Brent's favorite color. She told me that. Said he always called her his cherry bomb. Pathetic. I took her hand, and together we stepped inside the bar. Instant silence was never the goal, but sudden tension? Oh, we achieved that. The second we walked in, every head turned. And then it happened. Rachel spotted us. Her expression froze like someone had just paused her reality. Her drink hovered midair, hand trembling slightly. Then Brent turned. His grin faltered, slow like a bad connection buffering a video. His jaw tightened. His smile dropped entirely. He muttered something maybe, what the F, and stood up too fast, knocking his chair to the floor. And that's when Haley made the first move. She grabbed my face and kissed me. Hard. Wet. Desperate. Like she hadn't seen me in years and couldn't wait another second. Her hand slid down my chest, under my belt line. My own hand gripped her thigh and slid up, disappearing beneath her dress. I made sure my fingers curled exactly where they needed to, just enough to make her gasp. Let them see. Let them burn. Rachel's mouth dropped open. Her glass slipped from her hand and shattered against the floor. Brent took 2 steps toward us, red-faced and shaking. What the hell is this? Haley pulled away from my lips just long enough to flash him a venomous smirk. Happy birthday, babe. I brought a surprise. I turned to Rachel. You always said I wasn't spontaneous enough. She looked like a ghost. Jason, what are you doing? She stammered. You lied to me for 6 months, Rachel, I said, loud enough for everyone at their table to hear. 6 months of fake smiles, fake kisses, and fake excuses. So tonight, I thought I'd show you what real betrayal looks like. Brent lunged at me. Haley stepped between us, hand on his chest. Touch him, and the entire office sees those videos. Remember that little corner meeting room, Brent? I've got angles. He froze. Coward. Haley leaned closer to him and whispered, You thought I didn't know? I looked at Rachel again. Her eyes were full of tears, but not from guilt. From loss of control. From exposure. She was unraveling right there in front of everyone. Her friends, her coworkers, they were watching her life implode. You made your choice, I told her. This is mine. Then Haley grabbed my hand, and we walked away. Past the bar. Past the broken glass. Past the hollow stairs. We didn't look back. We didn't need to. Because the best part? That wasn't even the real revenge. That was just the first warning shot. The next moves? They would change everything. The morning after the bar scene was quiet. Too quiet. I woke up early, before the sun, the adrenaline still buzzing in my chest. Haley had crashed on my couch, no drama, no awkwardness. Just 2 broken people united by fury, bound by strategy. She left before Rachel came home. Smart move. Rachel walked in just after 10 a.m. No apology. No explanation. She just dropped her purse on the counter like she'd come back from grocery shopping and gave me this wide-eyed, pitiful look. The kind she'd used 100 times to get out of arguments when we were younger. Back then, it worked. Now? Now, I saw right through it. You embarrassed me last night, she said quietly. I let out a slow laugh. You feel embarrassed? She crossed her arms. Jason, that was low. What the hell was that with Haley? You groped her in front of everyone. People were watching. Oh, you mean like when you ed her husband behind my back? I said, calm, measured, venomous. Keep your voice down, she hissed. Why? I stepped closer. Afraid the neighbors will hear how their favorite couple finally collapsed? Her face twisted into something ugly. It was just a mistake. One mistake. You don't get to act like you're innocent. I laughed again. I couldn't help it. One mistake? Rachel, you booked hotel rooms. You faked company retreats. You brought him into our house. She flinched. I was lonely, she snapped. You weren't paying attention to me anymore. You were always working. You stopped touching me. Oh, that excuse. I took a deep breath. So instead of using your words like a grown woman, you spread your legs for Brent and decided to pretend you were still my wife. You don't understand, she screamed. It wasn't supposed to be serious. It was just. It made me feel alive again. And there it was. The core of her truth. Not remorse. Not regret. Justification. I gave you everything, I said, my voice lower now. I worked my ass off to build us a life. I cooked for you. Traveled for you. Covered your lies while you worked late. And you spit in my face. She turned away, hands shaking, trying to find something to grab, an excuse, a deflection, anything. But there was nothing. Just truth. Cold and sharp. Brent's a joke, I added. He told Haley he was only using you to get back at her. He laughed about how easy you were. That hit. Rachel stumbled back like I'd punched her in the stomach. No, she whispered. Yes. And don't worry, we've got screenshots. Video. Audio. Every dirty little secret. She finally sat down, deflated. Broken, but still trying to find control. What are you going to do? She asked. I didn't answer right away. I let her squirm. I haven't decided, I said finally. But you're not the one holding the cards anymore. She looked up at me, eyes wide. And for the first time, I saw it. Fear. Not the kind that comes from being caught, but the kind that comes when a manipulator realizes their game is over and they're no longer the one pulling the strings. You're not walking away from this clean, I said. Then I left. I needed space. Because now it was time to do what I should have done weeks ago. Call the lawyer. And burn every last bridge she thought she could crawl back over. I drove to the attorney's office in silence, no music, no distractions. Just the rhythm of tires on pavement and the quiet roar of betrayal echoing in my skull. If part of me had still been hesitating, some naive little voice whispering maybe she's sorry, that voice was gone. Dead. I parked outside the firm of Holloway and Price, walked in, and dropped a flash drive onto the lawyer's desk like it was a live grenade. Everything you need's on there, I said. David Holloway looked up from his notes and raised an eyebrow. Is that so? I leaned forward. Photos. Messages. Audio. GPS logs. Her affair. The man she cheated with. Everything. I want to file for divorce. I want to take the house. I want to bury her. He nodded slowly, inserted the drive into his laptop, and clicked through the folders. I watched his face go from curious to stunned to impressed. You documented this well. Wasn't hard, I muttered. They didn't even try to hide it. He looked up again, more serious this time. You have a prenup? Yeah. We signed one before marriage. She didn't think it mattered back then. He gave me a small smirk. It matters now. You're in a good position, especially with this evidence. If we move fast, you can lock up the assets, the house, even alimony, reverse it. Good, I said. She gets nothing. That night, I returned home with divorce papers in my bag and a fire in my chest. Rachel was sitting on the couch in yoga pants, scrolling on her phone like her world hadn't just imploded. I tossed the envelope in front of her. She froze. What's this? She said, her voice thin. Read it, I said. It's everything you've been asking for without saying it out loud. She pulled the papers from the envelope, skimmed the front page, and turned pale. You're divorcing me? No, I said. You divorced me the moment you started spreading your legs for another man. This? This is just paperwork. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. And then she laughed. Not nervously. Mockingly. You really think you're going to come out of this clean? She sneered. You embarrassed me. You assaulted my character in front of friends. Brent might sue. You and that slut Haley made a public scene. I smiled. Do it. Let him try. Haley's already sent the bar security footage to her lawyer. Brent threw the first punch, remember? Her smirk cracked. You're pathetic, she snapped. You couldn't keep your wife happy, so you throw a tantrum and try to ruin my life? No, Rachel. I'm not trying. I stepped closer. I'm succeeding. She jumped up, shoved the papers at me. You'll regret this. You think Haley actually wants you? She's using you, just like you think I did. I laughed. The difference is, Haley and I have no illusions. You and Brent? You pretended it was love. But he already replaced you. She showed me the texts. Rachel's eyes widened. He's been talking to a girl from accounting, I added. He called you a good distraction while his wife was cold. You were a filler, Rachel. A throwaway. You meant nothing. She screamed. A raw, angry, broken scream. Like her carefully crafted world had finally snapped in half. I didn't flinch. Didn't comfort her. Didn't even blink. You deserve everything that's coming, I said coldly. Then I walked upstairs and locked the door. Outside, her mask had shattered. But I wasn't done yet. Because Haley and I had one more move left. And it was going to be final. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of silence, tension, and preparation. Rachel was still in the house, packing slowly, dragging it out like she thought she could guilt me into changing my mind. But the fire inside me had already burned through any trace of pity. The divorce was moving faster than she expected. Every day, she got an update that tightened the noose. Asset freezes, her credit card canceled, her name off the joint account. I was legally untangling her from my life, piece by piece. But one final act remained. Haley and I had saved the best for last. It wasn't enough to just expose them or walk away with the house. They needed to feel it. Publicly. Permanently. That's when we released the Dropbox. We called it the Truth Files. Photos, messages, voice recordings. A timeline. Brent whispering, "I wish your husband was dead." Rachel giggling and replying, "He's too stupid to notice anything." Every file was labeled, dated, and presented in order. We didn't blast it out on social media. That would have been too messy, too loud. No. We sent it directly to their coworkers, their boss, their families, and every mutual friend who had once sat across from us at dinner, thinking we were relationship goals. The reactions were immediate. Haley messaged me first. 3 people from Brent's company have already forwarded it to HR. Then, his boss just suspended him pending internal investigation. Company policy on workplace affairs. Rachel's phone didn't stop buzzing. She ran room to room, trying to keep up with the calls. I heard her scream at her best friend, someone she used to gossip about me with. "What the hell did he send you?" "That's fake, Kelsey. None of that's true." But it was true. And she knew it. She came banging on my door that night, face streaked with mascara, fury boiling over. "You destroyed my life." "No, Rachel," I said calmly. "You did. I just handed everyone the receipts." She tried to slap me. Missed. Then broke down sobbing on the hallway floor. I didn't say a word. I didn't touch her. She cried alone. Like I had. For months. The next morning, she was gone. No note. No goodbye. Just an empty closet, a stripped side of the bed, and silence. Haley called me later that day. "Brent moved out," she said. "He left a voicemail saying he's processing things." Translation: "He's a coward." I chuckled. "So what now?" There was a pause. Then, we rebuilt. Separately. She was right. We didn't owe each other anything past this. The fire we shared had done its job. The war was over. "I'll always be grateful," I told her. "Same," she replied. "Don't forget what you learned from this." I wouldn't. Later that evening, I sat in the backyard with a drink in hand, breathing in the silence. For the first time in months, it didn't feel suffocating. It felt clean. Empty in a good way. Like a wound finally scabbing over. I wasn't just surviving. I was free. And I swore to myself that no one would ever have that kind of power over me again. Because the moment you stop begging for answers and start demanding respect is the moment you get your life back. It's strange how quiet peace is. Not the absence of sound kind of quiet. No. It's the quiet that lives inside your chest when the war is finally over. When your thoughts stop racing. When you can finally look in the mirror and not see a man clawing to understand what went wrong. Because now, I knew what went wrong. She went wrong. Rachel. A woman I once trusted with my future, my fears, my love, and who turned around and crushed it all under her heels like it was disposable. But let's be honest, I wasn't innocent either. Not in terms of loyalty. I never cheated, never lied, never stepped outside the lines. But I did turn a blind eye. I ignored my gut. I swallowed red flags like candy. I let her disrespect go unchecked because I didn't want to rock the boat. I thought love meant patience. I thought commitment meant silence. And I was dead wrong. The man I am now? He would have never let that slide. He would have confronted the first lie, called out the first disappearing act, walked away the moment she stopped looking at him like a partner and started treating him like a background prop. But I didn't. I stayed. Too long. Until she buried a knife in my back and kissed the man who helped her twist it. Now that the dust is settled, people ask me all the time, "Don't you wish you'd walked away quietly? Moved on without the drama?" No. Because silence never taught her a lesson. She never deserved my silence, she needed the storm. And I was the storm. I didn't burn everything to the ground out of revenge. I did it to start fresh. To rebuild something real, something true, starting with myself. And you know what? It worked. The house is mine now. Empty, quiet, peaceful. No secrets hiding in text messages. No more lies whispered in late-night calls. Just me. And that's enough for now. Haley and I still talk, sometimes. Not romantically. Just 2 survivors checking in, sharing small victories. She got promoted. Sold the old apartment. Said she's thinking of moving to another city to start over. Good for her. As for Rachel, she moved in with her sister. Last I heard, Brent ghosted her completely, blocked her on everything. Classic. And honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just done. It took losing everything I thought I had to realize I never had anything to begin with, not really. What I had was an illusion, a staged performance, a woman pretending to be someone I could grow old with while she rehearsed betrayal behind the curtain. Now I have something better. Clarity. And clarity is dangerous. It makes you unshakable. So if you're reading this, if you're a man sitting in the dark wondering what you did wrong because your woman suddenly became cold, distant, different, wake up. Check the phone. Follow your gut. Ask the hard questions. And when the truth smacks you in the face, don't cry. Stand up. Take your life back. You don't have to scream. You don't have to break things. But you do have to act. Let her lie. Let her cheat. Let her think she's winning. Then walk away with the calm fury of a man who knows his worth. That is real power. And you'll never lose it again.